Hello everybody, welcome to my channel once again. I'm Urvashi, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about the transits for the month of November and December. I'm going to be talking about Jupiter being combust in the sign of Scorpio. So Jupiter here is in close conjunction with Sun and Mercury as well. So this is Mercury, Jupiter and Sun in the sign of Scorpio, and Mercury is retrograde. Mercury too will be combust and Jupiter too is going to be combust. So I'm just going to be talking about this entire event that is happening and what can we really make out from this event here, from this particular transit here. So combustions are not considered to be a very good event, definitely, because the Sun comes in close contact with these planets. So whenever the Sun comes in close contact with the planet within certain degrees, so for example for Jupiter it's about 11 degrees either ways. So if Jupiter is 11 degrees behind the Sun, or Jupiter crosses the Sun, and then Jupiter is 11 degrees in front of the Sun. So 11 degrees either ways, if Jupiter is on either side of the Sun, Jupiter is considered combust. So likewise all the planets have their own degrees, at the degrees where they are considered combust. And combust well because the Sun is a fireball, is a ball of fire. And whenever the Sun comes too close to a planet, it tends to like combustion. Of course we know it's burning up, so it tends to kind of burn up the planet or burn up some of the significations of that planet. And so it's not considered a very good event. But there are both sides to this particular conjunction here, to this combustion of Jupiter, that I would like to share with you. What I have also observed practically, what I have discussed with my teachers, with my gurus when I was studying astrology practically, and what I feel also practically. And in fact I would love if you give me feedback about the combustions and how you feel the combustion, especially a Jupiter combustion, because this happens once a year. So the Sun in its journey around the zodiac, it's after 1 year that the Sun comes in the same house as Jupiter is. So last year at this point of time, exactly at this point of time, and even a few days before this, the Sun and Jupiter were both in the sign of Virgo, were both in the sign of Libra. So so there was a combustion of Jupiter last year too. Around the 1st of November, Jupiter was combust in the sign of Libra with the Sun. So it's after 1 year time that the Sun comes back and is conjunct Jupiter again, and then there is a time when Jupiter is behind the Sun, 11 degrees behind the Sun. So Jupiter goes combust, it crosses the Sun, it moves on to an 11 degree distance away from the Sun. Till that point of time it is considered combust. And combustion means burning up the qualities, the properties, the natural significations of Jupiter. But practically I've seen not all significations of Jupiter are harmed in the process. In one of my videos earlier I also mentioned Jupiter being gold and the Sun being a fireball, and whenever you want to purify gold, you take it through fire, and so you get 24 karat gold, or you get pure gold. So Jupiter Sun conjunctions in one way is a very, 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 very positive conjunction. And even the combustion of Jupiter, from one aspect is considered very positive. From the materialistic aspect, because Jupiter also signifies the second house, the 11th house, the houses of wealth. So from that point of view, it's not considered very good. From the materialistic point of view, this conjunction, this combustion is not considered very good. But from the sattvic point of view, from the spiritual point of view, this is a great combination. In fact, I still remember listening to some video a few years ago. I don't even remember whose video this was, and this astrologer was talking about this combination. And I still remember this astrologer saying, if you ever to consult an astrologer, then find somebody who has a Jupiter Sun close conjunction, because these people are the best counselors, the best teachers, the best learners. Why? Because of course the Sun is our soul. So we know in astrology, whenever planets are in conjunction with each other, they tend to lend their properties to the the planet that they are conjunct with. So here Jupiter is in close conjunction to the Sun. So whoever has this conjunction, the soul will naturally have the qualities of Jupiter. They will naturally want to learn. They will naturally want to teach, because Jupiter is also a teacher. Jupiter is a guru. They will want to teach. They will want to heal. So the natural tendency would be to do good. They would not knowingly hurt somebody. They would not knowingly harm somebody. So the astrologer, if you go to astrologer and they have this close conjunction, would at least try his or her best to give the best advice, to give the best counsel. So that way, yes, I've seen it's a great combination, and practically you would see this combination, you would see a combustion of Jupiter in a lot of celebrity charts. So some of the Western celebrities like Woody Allen has it, Mick Jagger has it, Drew Barrymore has it. So there are lots of celebrities that have this conjunction. So not necessarily that everybody is a pure soul who has this combination. Also depends on the aspects, the placement. Of course, Jupiter and Sun both need to be benefics for the particular natal chart, and they need to be well placed in one of the good houses. There are lots of things to be seen with no negative aspects, but generally the tendency of the person would be towards education, learning, imparting education, and especially if you have this combination anywhere near the 10th, 11th, 9th house in one of the Kendra houses. It can also be said that professions related to education would suit such a person. So yes, Jupiter Sun conjunction and combustion. Conjunction, yes, it brings a level of optimism in the personality, in that person, in the native, in the soul of the native, because we know Jupiter is the most positive planet. Jupiter is the planet of optimism, of the planet of hope, the planet of faith, the planet of belief. So imagine this planet coming close to the Sun. It brings a note of optimism in our lives at that point of time. And I want you all to in fact think back last year at this point of time when this conjunction was happening. What was happening in your life? Was there anything positive that you were thinking of? See, what happens normally is a lot of thoughts keep coming to our minds and we don't implement everything. There is very little that we really implement. We plan a lot, we think about a lot of things, and we let go of a lot of things and we move on. And then sometimes we even forget. So this time, once a year, when the Sun travels around the zodiac and comes in contact with Jupiter, is the time when we become positive by nature, when we become optimistic, we become hopeful. And also now with Mercury being a part of this yoga, because Mercury and Jupiter, both the planets for knowledge, education, wisdom, ideas, communication, abundance, prosperity, wealth, business. So when Mercury too comes and is a part of this combination, is when we will have a lot of ideas, when we will be optimistic. I remember last year at this point of time, this was in November last year, I had the idea of coming onto YouTube had been implanted in my mind. Much before that, I was already doing videos for another channel. So then I started talking about this to one of my other friends. She's an astrologer also on YouTube, and I started encouraging her, I started pushing her. So this was a time that the idea, the positivity, the optimism was there in my mind, and Jupiter was combust. Remember, Jupiter was combust then. So the ideas will be there, the positivity will be there, the hopefulness will be there, the belief will be there, the faith will be there. But it is not the time to implement, because Jupiter is combust. Because Jupiter and its natural significations will be on the lesser side, especially on the materialistic plane. So yes, later on in January, both of us, she started her thing, and after a few days I started my own YouTube channel here on YouTube. So that was later on, but the idea, the optimism, the belief, the faith came a little earlier. Then we actually started. It was when the Sun was in close conjunction with Jupiter. So you too have to if you're learning astrology, or if you're just interested in astrology, when you think of these transits, if you're interested in transits, then you have to try and understand what these transits really mean. What do the planets mean when they come in close conjunction to each other? What energies are they giving to each other? And especially now with Mercury in this close conjunction, there will be a lot of ideas. But then again, yes, remember, Mercury too is going to be combust. Mercury will be combust. I think around the 26th. I'm not so sure about this. I'll just give it in a strip down here. Around the 26th of November till the 3rd of December, Mercury 2 is going to be combust, and Mercury is going to be retrograde around the 22nd. I'll give the dates. I don't remember the dates. Mercury is going to be retrograde between that period. The sun is moving into the sign of Scorpio around the 17th of this month. And right from the 12th of November, Jupiter is combust. Mercury is going to be combust for a few days around the 22nd or the 26th. I'm going to be mentioning the dates. I'll mention the dates in the description as well. So it is definitely not the good time to start anything new, to implement anything new. For materialism, it is not good. But it's a great time to connect with yourself, to take seriously the ideas that are coming to your mind, to seriously consider, because Mercury, when it's retrograde, becomes very analytical. Mercury, when it's retrograde, starts analyzing. Of course, we all know what retrograde Mercury is. We should not go forward. We should not plan anything. We should not do any new communication. We should all look back into what we've done in the past, and we should correct all that. But it's a great time to think. It's a great time to think of what you did in the past, whatever you did. And it's a great time to plan ahead about the future. And it's not a great time to implement. But then Mercury gets combust for those few days. And when Mercury is combust, what happens? So yes, again, another point here I'd like to tell you, like we all know, the sun is our ego also. And when the sun comes in close conjunction with any of these planets, our ego takes over the natural significations or the natural nature of those planets. So here Mercury is our intelligence, our intellect, our ability to analyze, our ability to take decisions. And when it is combust, when it is in close conjunction with the sun, then our abilities to take decisions slows down a little bit. Then we tend to miss opportunities. Then we tend to miss chances. Then we become more egoistic, and our intellect takes a back seat. So that too will happen in this transit. When there is a conjunction, there is a combustion, and there is a retrogradation. But I think that's a great thing, really. Decisions should not be taken when Mercury is retrograde. So if it's retrograde and it's combust, the ideas will be there, the analysis will be there, but the decision making will not happen. And it should not happen, because we should make our decisions when Mercury goes direct again. So it's only then we should actually start making our decisions. But we should be conscious of our thoughts. We should be conscious of the optimism that is inside of us. Because like I just said, remember, astrology is all about understanding the energy of the planets, about recognizing them. And then, the next step is taking action. The next step is activating that Saturn. If we think magic will happen and the sky will open up and suddenly there would be a rainfall of, money or something, then that's not going to happen. That is not, we make our own luck. We make our own destinies. We have to work for them. The stars will only support us as such. So the time will come now when ideas may come to us. But it is up to us to make those things happen. So the idea did come to me last year around November. I'd started thinking about it, and if I had not implemented it, if I had not gone ahead, if I had not made the effort, then it would have been an idea and I probably would have forgotten about it by now. So it is up to you to implement your ideas. But it is what I'm trying to do is just making you aware that this is a great conjunction for optimism. It's a great conjunction for getting ideas. People with the Jupiter-Sun conjunction are extremely optimistic. They don't give up, and they always try to find their way out of a situation. They're always trying to find solutions to problems. So if you are in a problem situation, if you are in some kind of a situation, this is the great time when the Sun and Jupiter, because Jupiter is wisdom, as the Sun is your soul, your ego, your personality, when they are in close conjunction, and Mercury is also going to be there, it's a great time for ideas, for thinking, for wisdom, because wisdom is impacting your ego, wisdom is impacting your soul. It's in close conjunction with your soul. It is the beginning of a new cycle. And where is this happening? This is happening in the sign of Scorpio. We've already done Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio, and we've already discussed what happens. So Scorpio is the natural 8th house. Everything that is hidden, everything that is secretive, everything that is problematic, everything, all the good and the bad that happens to us Inheritances also come from the 8th house. Chronic diseases also comes from the 8th house. Other people's wealth, things you haven't really worked for, all that comes from the 8th house. Everything that is hidden, secretive, everything occult comes from the 8th house. And suddenly with Jupiter out there, all of that is getting activated. In fact, I was reading somewhere, Jupiter being in the 8th house for astrologers, I was reading somewhere, because 8th house in the sign of Scorpio is the house of transformation. So for astrologers who are practicing Western astrology, would suddenly be interested in learning Vedic astrology and vice versa. And I'm already feeling it. I'm already interested in Western astrology, and I'm already buying books, and I'm already going through. So the vibrations will be there, but the action is up to you. And now the sun, after this 1 year of journey around the zodiac, is coming in close conjunction with Jupiter. So this wisdom isn't going to be close conjunction to our souls. It is up to us to be more connected to ourselves, to feel that subtle energy, to connect with our thoughts, to be a little still, to let the ideas seep into ourselves, not just let them be on the surface and brush them aside, because then it's all gone, it's all a waste. So it's a new cycle that is starting now, with the sun coming full circle, the sun being in contact with Jupiter again. Yes, Jupiter is going to be combust. So for materialism, this is a bit of a slowdown. Don't do any new investments. Don't start anything new at this point of time. It's not considered auspicious. But for being more connected to yourself, because Jupiter is the wisdom inside of you. It's the teacher, it's the guru inside of you, and now it's in close conjunction with the sun. It's a great time to reflect, to meditate, to understand yourself better, and to understand what you would like to do for the next 1 year. And yes, with Mercury being retrograde again, it's time to also consider what you've done in the past, all the communication you've done in the past. So the last Mercury retrograde, I didn't really feel much of it. Really, all that I felt was one fine day my laptop refused to open. My laptop refused to start. There was no reason, it just refused to start. And then I finally took it to the Apple Service Center, and they did some kind of an emergency start. It did start, but no one knew why it didn't start at the first place. So for 2 days, I was almost 2 days I was without a laptop, which was a big issue in itself. So sometimes you feel the transits in a big way, sometimes you do not feel the transits in a big way. Many people tell me they don't feel transit so much, so it also depends on your dasha. Like this Venus retrograde transit that we've just had. In fact, Venus is still retrograde till about the 16th. So somebody I know who's going through a Venus Mahadasha was telling me that he felt the transit so much that everything related to Venus, everything possible related to Venus went wrong with him. So much so that even his car got towed away. In relationships, he was having an issue. He somehow needed help with something, and he checked all his relationships, as in relatives even. He checked out all his relatives, and he found out really which relationship was real and which relationship was not real. So if you are undergoing the dasha, you will feel the transits more. If you are not undergoing a certain dasha, you will not feel the transits as much. But yes, these are subtle energies. And this is again an important transit, with Sun Jupiter being in close conjunction, and with Mercury being there to support this transit, to bring wisdom to the soul, to bring ideas to the soul, but not to take action. Not to take action till Jupiter comes out of the combustion, and Mercury too comes out of the combustion, and Mercury is direct again. So I will give the dates in the description, because I really don't remember the dates by heart. Also, I'm not touching any of the ascendants. You can check out your ascendant and where the sign of Scorpio falls. So the changes could be expected in those houses. A new cycle in some way could be expected in those houses. I can give you personal examples. I feel all the changes already. I feel this Jupiter transit in Scorpio with the sun entering this zodiac as well. I can give you my personal, reasons. I can tell you how I'm feeling this transit, but I want to know what's happening with you. What's this transit? What is the new optimistic thing this transit is bringing into your life? How is it making your soul happy? Because the sun is very happy when it is conjunct Jupiter. They are the best of friends. They're both Sattvic planets. It's a great time for connecting to yourself, of spiritually evolving yourself, of educating yourself, because again Jupiter and Mercury, both the planets for education, knowledge, here are conjunct with the Sun. So that is all for now. We'll see you now in the next video. Bye bye.